Welcome everybody. Today we're going to do a very simple definition, which is one of the most powerful ones that jewelers who don't know how to use record history will work with. You will use this definition to make adjustable claws around the gemstone. You'll use it for the famous Lucidia style, crisscross claws, and under galleries. To get started, you need to have Grasshopper loaded into your Rhino5. We're going to be working with Rhino5. Shortly they'll be coming out with Rhino6, and Grasshopper will be an integrate part. To find Grasshopper, you can type, if you have it loaded on your computer, you will type in the command line Grasshopper. Grasshopper will show up if it is loaded in. You will press Grasshopper. Once you're in this position, what I want you to do is open the file that you received with this disk for the One Moveable Pipes 3DM. It gives us some reference gemstones that we're going to use with this definition, and you will also open the document in Grasshopper. You go to File, Open, Moveable Pipes. Yours will not be connected like this because you're actually going to build it. When you see this, move to the Layer command and see the layer structure of the file. Here we got different shanks and everything that we're going to work with. But right now we're going to concentrate on building this definition. To do that, we're going to start with the different, you got a set of different tabs here which have the different components in. But we're going to start with the parameter tab because most definitions start with a point and space. So we're going to drag, left click on the point. When you mouse over it, it'll show up what the command is. In this particular case, we're going to left click the point. You're going to left click down and then drag it into this particular space onto the canvas. The next component we need is interpolated points. This is found under the curve tab, under the spline tab, and it will be interpolate. Create an interpolated curve through a set of points. Left click on it, drag it into the canvas. Once we have a curve, we want to pipe that curve to make the movable pipe. That is the pipe command. You can either double click on the canvas and start typing the command pipe and it'll show up, or you can go to the surface, freeform, pipe, and drag it onto the canvas. Either way, you can double click, start typing the command you're looking for, pipe, or go to the tabs, freeform, pipe, and bring it into space. Now we're set, ready to go. What I want you to do is go to Parameters, Utility, and scribble a quick note. Grab it on here. This way you can put information onto your canvas, what you're doing, and you can group things in different ways. I like to group my different components together and leave a note behind what I did. So it says double click me. So we're going to double click, and then we're going to call it one period Moveable Pipe. When we're happy with it, you can change the size, and you can press OK. Now we've scribbled a note. We're ready for the next step. This pipe has got a curve, it references around, and it gives a circle or a radius to create the pipe. The radius is the radius of a circle. We like to work in diameter of the circle, not a radius of the circle. So to find the diameter of the circle, we actually have to feed in a division. So to do that, we go Math, divide by 2. So that when we create a slider here that says diameter, if the slider says 1 millimeter, we know that the diameter of that pipe is 1 millimeter. Not that it's 2 millimeters because the radius of the circle. So to do that, we brought in math. You go to math, operations, division, and draw it in. Now we need to divide A by B. And what we're going to do is divide our number slider by 2, which is now the radius for our pipe. So we need to set B to 2. Mouse over B, right click, come down to set data item, and across, left click at this position, type 2, and commit it. So now the location B is 2. Now we also need an input slider for A. So we will go to parameters, input, number slider, and drag it down. The number slider is what you're going to use in a lot of the cases. It's one of the most popular components of Grasshopper. It allows you to bring inputs in. In this particular case, we need to edit this number slider now. So we will right click on number slider, and I'm going to put in here diameter millimeters. Then I'm going to go down to the edit command here, and I'm going to set the tolerances for this diameter of a pipe. I'm going to move it from 3 decimal places. You got decimals, numbers, right, integers, even numbers, and odd numbers. We want a real floating number, but 2 decimal points. We want a minimum of this pipe to be 0.4 millimeters, because printers can print 0.2, but the 0.2 millimeter wire is like a hair. So I would start at 0.4. For claws, you would probably go 0.5. The maximum of this pipe, I'm going to go 1.5 millimeters. You can always come back later and change this to 2 millimeters or whatever. So if you're going to use this pipe for a ring shank, and you want it to be 1.5 millimeters, we can make the maximum here. Or you can come in later and change that. So there's always a way to change this later. Press OK. Now you'll see your diameter change up. So now we're ready to connect the dots. And what you do is you read the definition from left-hand side to right-hand side. So we have a right, bring the mouse over top of this little area here, and you will see a little arrow come up. You will left-click on it, and then drag, pull out the arrow, and connect it to the vertices, like this. What that means is you're going to have a list of points. Through that list of points, you're going to create a curve. So we want the output to be the curve. We're going to left-click on it again, and around that curve, we're going to create a pipe. The pipe will have a radius right now, but we want it to be a diameter. So we're going to take the diameter, we're going to pull it into A. So 0.4 divided by 2 gives a result of 0.2, which is the radius that equals 0.4 millimeter diameter. Now we're going to drag this into the radius. We're almost set to go. We need to zoom in, hover over caps, right click. Right now there are no caps, so you would be creating a surface. We've got flat caps and round caps. I want you to click round caps. Now you can group all these together. You would right click, left click over here, draw it over, press the center ball on your mouse, and this will appear. You can cluster, hide, edit, bake. We want this little tool here, group, and we're going to group them together. So now you can move them around on the canvas as a group. We're now ready to work our definition. So, to start this definition, I want you to go into the front view. You'll zoom into the front view. I'm going to change the front view to shaded. So, our definition says we have a number of points, which are vertices. Through those vertices, we're going to create a curve. And from that curve, we're going to create a pipe around that curve of 0.4 millimeters in diameter. So what we need to do is bring the points in play for the first claw on this particular ring. I'm going to use shank number 1. I'm going to bring it up here, and this is, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring claws across here and across here. So I need to set the definition in action. I right-click over top of the X, the points, and I go to set multiple points. Set multiple points. I will click on it. Now I will come across and start setting. I want 4 points. And when I press to the last point, my pipe will appear. So let's redo that. I will right click. I can clear it. I will right click. I will set multiple points. I'm going to turn my O snaps off so that I'm planar. And I'm going to go, I can turn my grid snaps off too. I'm going to start maybe around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I'm done, I will left click. Actually, Control Z. Escape. Set multiple points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press Enter. And you will see our pipe appear. Now you can change the diameter of the pipe. Because this is going to be a claw, I want it to be, let's say, 1.2 millimeters thick. You can double click on there and type 1.2. Press the check mark. So now my claw is 1.2 millimeters. But when I look at it, it's in the wrong location. So the beauty of this definition is I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to move the points around. Now I will click over the points, and you'll see the gumball turn on. You have to have your gumball on here and record history on. So let's do that again. I will left click over the X, and the gumball will turn on. Now I can grab the arrows of the gumball to start moving my pipe around to the right location that I want. I'm going to crisscross underneath this ring here. So just by moving the gumball around, I'm adjusting with the arrows where this claw is going to intersect. You can see the intersection here. I want it to intersect a little bit more. I want it to intersect there. I'm going to come up to the top view because I need to bring the claw close to this location here. So I'm going to grab the claw and bring it into position. That looks pretty good to me. I might want to pull it in just a little. So when I'm ready, I'll touch on the canvas. It'll deactivate the gumball. I like that claw. So when I'm ready, I need to bring it into Rhino. Right now it's in Grasshopper and it's in imaginary space. Rhino doesn't recognize that claw. To recognize that claw, I will zoom in on pipe. I will right click on pipe and press the bake command. From here, it'll take me to my layers, and I can put the claw in any layer I want. So what I'm going to do is cancel this. I'm going to go to my layers, and I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call it head wires. I'm going to change the color to green. So now I have the layer ready to bake my claw into position. I can come down here, I will bake it, and you see head wire shows up. I will click on it, I will press OK. Now it is in Rhino. I can double click in this location on the Grasshopper panel, and it will close down. So I have the claw in the right position, so I can mirror it to the opposite side, or I can mirror it to the quadrat, four sides. I can go to the top view. I can now use the transform, mirror, select the object, and away we go. There's my head done in claws. Now, if I want to get really fancy, I can double click here. I will now reactivate the definition by left clicking on the X. What I'm going to just do is pull the claw out. I'm happy with that. And I will now bake it again. Now I can take this one claw, and I can do the same as I did last time. I can mirror it in four directions. And now I have something different. If I'm not happy with the arrangement here, I can delete the claw. And open it up again. And just tweak it a little bit more till I'm happy with it. You can see I'm live tweaking what I'm doing here as I'm going. The next trick is what I did is a mirror. So technically I can actually mirror this claw in Grasshopper by using the commands transform, mirror. I bring the mirror down. So what I'm trying to now do is mirror. I'm going to mirror this claw to the opposite side. And there it is there. Now I can do another mirror of these two claws to the opposite side again. So I can draw the mirror down, place the geometry here, but I'm going to change the plane in which I'm going to mirror. I'm going to mirror this geometry too. And I'm going to change the plane in which I'm going to mirror. So I need to change the plane. So I'm going to go to vector. I'm going to go to plane. I'm going to draw in a YZ plane. Because right now the plane is set at YZ. So I need an XZ. I'm going to go plane, XZ, bring this down here, connect the plane in here. Now I have the claws all in the right location in my first definition, and I can change the one, and it will change all the claws in the opposite locations as I go. So you can see I'm changing all the claws in three-dimensional space at the same time. Because what I've done is I've done the next step in Grasshopper instead of doing it manually in Rhino, where we bake the one claw and then we mirrored it 4 times. So what I've done is here's to take the claw, I've mirrored it across the YZ plane. Then I've mirrored these two claws across the XZ plane to get my 4 claws. Now I'd have to bake each one of these individually, so I would left click, bake, head wire, okay, there's the first claw. I would go over geometry, I'd right click, bake, wires, okay, there's the second claw. I would go over geometry here, I would there's 2 claws, right click, bake, head wires. So now you've made the head wires and this fancy head all dynamically. This is the first build-up of your first definition, and it will work great for you in many circumstances. You can use it for under galleries. You can use it to make lucidias, all right, where the wires crisscross underneath each other, all parametrically. So let's see what we can do to here. I'm going to now close these wires off. I'm going to close the under gallery wire off, and I'm going to go to shank 2. Now you can see I've opened the space up, and I want to do a crisscross on this space inside here. So what I would do is go back, touch, activate the edit points. Now I can do the edit points live, and I can open it up, and I can open it up, and I'm working all 3-dimensional space live. My claw's not in the right location up at the top here, so let's pull it over. Pull it over. I might want the claw a little bit thinner, so I can thin it out, or I can make it thicker. I'm going to go to the top view to get the alignment right. That looks pretty close. Looks good to me. I'm going to turn the under gallery wire back on. It intersects there. So all I need to do is bake it again. This can be cleaned up. We can change the way that looks. We can add other stones in here. Just trying to show you the principles of this. So I would right click, bake, head wires, okay. I actually turned the head wires off. There's the other head wires. Let's make a new layer. And let's go turn the head wires off. Let's go right click, bake, pick the new layer, okay. Right click, bake, new layer, okay. Right click, bake, new layer, okay. There we go. We have the first. What I can do in this to maybe clean this up is I might put a wire in here or change it around the shank. I might change the shank a little bit around, or I can do a different style of crisscross. But either way, this one definition will help you with many, many wire options. What I would do in most cases, if I'm happy with this, I would now go. So this way, the name changes to job 1. when I shut the computer down and pull up this definition again, the clause will be in the exact location where I left them, because I've saved this instance of this definition. So in most cases, when you close the computer down, your record history will shut down and it will not work again. But I always save the definitions along with the jobs as I go. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Enjoy yourself.